want to stay at the... Oh, Danny boy, the pipes are calling.
This is appropriate to the movie. I know you're all surprised, but it makes sense.
Well, everybody's surprised because nobody has ever seen this film unless they live in Australia.
Oh.
Because I'll tell you what, it is shown every year New Year's Day, Channel 19 in Australia.
Oh my God. Wow.
Is this an honorary glitter cycle?
It feels glitter cycle.
It's a precursor.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Welcome back to Showgays Movie Musical Podcast, the show which we disseminate every movie musical ever made. Period. We'll be here for years.
Uh-huh.
RJ, how are you doing?
I'm doing okay. I just had my little mini ice cream cones from Trader Joe's.
Okay.
Went to the gym today. Went to the office today. Today was our reopening of the office. We had been under construction.
Oh, this wasn't a COVID. That would be pretty late for a COVID reopening. Okay.
No, we actually downsized our office because it was too big and people had since moved out of the city to work remote. So it's like a quarter of our previous office.
Yeah.
And there was a moment where we have these little tablets on the conference rooms that automatically show like what's connected to Google Calendar. So when you reserve it and stuff, but then they were like, you have to check in because if you don't check in to that meeting, like it says, this is the meeting happening right now. In 5 minutes, she disappears and it is free for all for anyone. So there were a lot of people coming in, coming out, standing out the door, being like, I have to talk to a client right now, but there's 12 people in this room. Yikes. What's going on? So they still get to, work through some quirks. But during lunch, we were all eating in our little, open concept kitchen. And we were just sitting there and was like,
how many people came in today?
I would say there's probably like 30-ish.
But everybody was able to have a desk or work?
Oh. Yeah, we have desks. Yes. And there's still plenty to go around. Plenty of monitors still to go. People are big on their monitors. They're like, I have to work in 2 monitors. I don't really care.
Yeah. That's big. That's big culture.
Big corporate culture. But during lunch, I was talking to other people and I was like, I don't think we have enough conference rooms. So I don't know, but we'll see. I think obviously
how many conferences are happening?
But the thing is it's PR. It's also creative. There's a lot of parts and pieces.
It's the space you need to confer your ideas to one another. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It was fun though.
Molly liked that one.
Confer in sort of like a conferential system.
Yeah.
Molly, how are you? How have you been?
I'm great. I've been great. I remain great. I went on a trip this weekend.
How was Antonio?
Antonio.
Did you find the Alamo? Did you find her?
We did. We actually stayed right across from the Alamo. We were very central, which was great. The Alamo was really interesting and went on the river. And then on Sunday, we rented a car and went to Austin. So seen both of those.
Cool.
We definitely feel like San Antonio we liked a lot more than Austin, but it might have just been that it was so hot the day that we were in Austin. I'm not sure if those two cities actually have a temperature difference or if it just happened to be hotter on the day that we were in Austin. But we were on South Congress Street, which is the hip street to walk around and go to the shops and whatever. And we both were it's a level of heat that our bodies are telling us that it's dangerous to be outside. This is not good. And it is April. So I won't be moving to South Texas anytime soon.
Never say never.
Never say never.
I know that there's all these news articles. I feel constantly that everyone in California is moving to Texas. And let me tell you, not tempting.
Yeah. That is a lot. I saw that because there were people here that I knew that were moving to LA, and when they were telling me about it, they were like, actually, there's more places. There's more places recently to find to live in LA because there's been a good amount of people that have left.
Look, if people want to leave and leave houses open for me to buy at a more reasonable price, I would love that.
Go ahead, girl.
I have no problem
I'm going to be staying here.
Yeah. You should have, if you had stayed longer, you could have reached out to Brandon. You guys could have met up in Austin.
In Austin? Gotcha.
Yeah. But don't worry. I'm sure there will be
Well, when you go on tour.
When we go on tour, yeah, we'll definitely stop there.
Tour. Yeah.
Well,
international.
In every city we visit. Yeah.
When we do the annual,
we got to go all around America, and then we got to go to Sydney.
Yes, for the glitter cycle.
And Paris.
And Paris.
We talked about it so fucking
that's
much.
true.
We'll do an annual Ampliverse retreat, and we'll do it at in Austin.
Annual?
Annual?
Great. Well,
Adam, how are you?
I'm okay. Work is busy, and the vacation is just around the corner. So ready for
I'm gonna get to it. Yeah.
Yeah, because this comes out May 1st. Well, this allegedly comes out May 1st.
Okay.
April's episodes did not come out on the day they were supposed to.
Did they not? I'm not even paying attention at this point.
Yeah. The one
Cyrano was late.
Cyrano was like a week and a half late.
Oh,
And I
apologies, listeners.
Apologies. We moved.
And it was really bad at work.
The best part was that someone commented on a Boys Love Instagram post and was like, "When's the next Showgays coming out?"
I know.
Molly,
like,
the Showgays stands are coming.
What?
They're coming out.
You know what though, Molly? Here's the thing. The night you were like, "Hey, LOL, I actually hadn't watched A Star Is Born."
Yeah.
That's when I finished making Cyrano.
Okay. Yeah, I really did save us.
Yeah.
I feel so good about that. I mean, obviously we weren't going to be able to record because I had forgotten and I hadn't watched the movie. So like, what was I going to do? But also Andrew was coming over because he asked me if he could come over and watch the basketball game, the like Final Four basketball game. And I was like, I'm glad I can just say I didn't watch the movie and not say like, I can't record because my boyfriend's coming over to watch basketball because I sound so heterosexual.
We would have kicked you out of Showgays.
I know I couldn't be on the podcast anymore.
The big game is on, so I got to make my Tostino's pizza rolls for the boys.
For the big game for my boys.
It's not even Tostino, it's Totino's.
Totino's pizza rolls.
Totino's pizza rolls.
The Totino family is from Minneapolis, so there's a high school there called Totino Grace that was like renamed because the family gave so much money.
Minneapolis, Italy?
Yeah. Totino,
Minneapolis, Italy.
Yes, of course. There's no one else that lives in Minneapolis that has an Italian last name. So
no, they're all fucking like Scandinavian.
Except for me.
Except for you.
You guys are not putting together what I'm saying. Yeah.
Except for you, an Irish Italian.
I am Italian. The name came from somewhere.
Anyway. Okay. Anything from the mailbag?
Nothing from the mailbag. Got some things from Google like services or whatever today.
Sure.
Nothing,
yeah, let us know about
the
what terms of service have been updated.
They're changing the biometric logins for Google Play.
Honey.
Oh,
that's
shit.
the update.
Okay, well.
Just
send us
anything.
an email.
Let us know you're listening.
We're in corporate culture. Send us an email. Circle back on the email.
Bubble up to leadership. Come on.
Here's your directive. Okay. This week I was challenged to summarize
Adam
of Can't Stop
This
the
week
Music.
you were challenged. You were asked to perform a 1-minute summary of the movie Can't Stop the Music by the Village People. Adam. This is your last chance to impress me and to save yourself from elimination. The time has come to summarize Can't Stop the Music in under 1 minute, and your time starts now.
Jack Morrell, a young DJ aspiring to a music career, and his best friend, platonically, Samantha Simpson, set off on a quest to create the gayest disco group of all time, the Village People. Members are added until we get all 6 members: the Indian, the cowboy, the cop, the construction worker, the leatherman, and the GI. Ron White, a lawyer, accidentally stumbles across the group while trying to deliver a cake to Samantha from his sister, the beginning of a tepid romance. Meanwhile, Samantha schemes while trying to avoid her former modeling agent pushing for her to get back to work, to use her leverage with her ex in the music industry to help the Village People get a signed record deal. Disco ensues, and they all live happily ever after.
Wow.
Kind of gave up on the ending a little bit there, but I do want to say that Adam was editorializing a little bit by saying that this is the gayest disco group of all time, because I cannot stress enough how deeply ambivalent this film is about whether or not these characters are gay. And I think that is going to be a huge topic of discussion.
Huge conversation piece, I think. Yeah. Also, he didn't seek out to create a gay disco group.
No,
it just so happened that the music he was making was the sound of the 80s. You know, it's going to be the new sound.
The new sound of the 80s was disco. The new sound.
Nothing could be more ironic than the amount of time that they spend emphasizing how this is going to be the deal of the 80s and how the reason this film flopped is that disco had ended just before the film came out.
Literally, the entire time. I mean, the entire time I just kept thinking of the Xanadu parallels.
Can I tell you that Aaron Carr, who is the producer and writer of this film, who had just come from producing Grease and goes on to produce Grease 2.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yes.
Are we Alan Carr stans?
No. He cast Steve Guttenberg, and at the time, we're going to talk about this too. At the time, Bruce Jenner in this film, and then called them that Steve Guttenberg and Bruce Jenner were going to be the who are the two guys? Dennis? Nope. What's his name in Kramer versus Kramer?
Oh, Dustin Hoffman.
Dustin Hoffman and Robert Redford of the 80s. He said Bruce Jenner was going to be the Robert Redford of the 80s. And to that I say no.
I think we should call her Caitlin, probably, right? I think that's
I was using a quote specifically, but yes.
But because Caitlin is playing a man in this film, I think it's fine to use him to talk about the character.
Yeah, I was going to say Ron mostly.
Yeah.
Okay. Anybody have any relationship to this musical that you want to share?
I don't even know how we came across it to put it on the list.
We were researching.
Adam was researching Xanadu.
No, I think we were looking for. You were researching Xanadu.
Because this and Xanadu came out the same year.
And it created the Razzie.
And it was a double feature. It was a 99-cent double feature. You could watch Can't Stop the Music and Xanadu. And that's where the person who came up with the Razzies was like, I got to create an award for worst movies of all time. And so that's where the Razzies came about. And this is the first Razzie winner.
Wow.
For worst movie.
And that's history.
Other than that, I myself, nothing. No, nothing.
No,
Nope.
I mean, I know Village People because of the disco knowledge that I have, but I mean, the go-to songs that only one song I knew beforehand was in this movie, and that was YMCA, because there are other, and
yes, weirdly, their other really famous ones are not in this movie.
No.
Yeah.
The closest.
Where's Macho Man?
The closest one was
in the Navy. Yeah.
The guy auditioning who like was a bodybuilder. He was like reciting Macho Man.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
But he was saying like body. That's for Macho Man. That's pretty much it.
Okay, so the Village People. Molly, did you have anything else? I'm assuming yours was also nothing.
Yeah, no, obviously not.
The Village People. Okay, so Jacques Morali, Henri Bololo, were two French music producers, creatives. In the 70s, they had done a string of hits in Europe, and so they had moved to America in 1977. And they were like, we're gonna take America by storm with this sound, honey. Victor Willis, who was the original like cop in the Village People, they heard a demo tape of him, and so they were like, we have to have this guy sing all our songs. So that's how he gets in the group. Victor Willis. Now, when you think the Village People, what do you think the sexuality of all the members are?
That they're gay men.
That they're all gay
So
men.
Victor Willis was married to Felicia Rashad.
Oh.
And was heterosexual. I shouldn't say. He's still alive. Is heterosexual. Apparently this is why he is not in this movie, because by the time this movie starts production in 1979, he was like, it's too gay for me. I can't do this. I'm straight. And so he left the group. Felicia Rashad was supposed to be, you know how there's
Olivia? Was that her character's name?
No, it's
The
something.
actress?
Yes, the one who like plays the nun. She comes in that nun habit in one scene.
Yeah.
Alicia Edwards. Felicia Rashad was supposed to play Alicia Edwards because they were married, and so they're like, well, let's give her a role too. So that's funny.
Yeah.
he ends up, I do have like a little timeline here that's available on Wikipedia if you're curious. Since their creation in like 1977 or whatever, there have been 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25 members of the Village People.
Wow.
But it's always been six
members.
Yeah, six members.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. 6 characters, yeah. In search of an author.
In search of an
author.
In search of an author.
Okay, so anyway, so Victor Willis joins the Village People first. Felipe Rose, who is the Indian, he joins next. I am going to use the term the Indian because that's the character. That's the name. But I think he's like half Puerto Rican, half Indigenous American. He's like Taino or something like that.
I looked it up. He is definitely Puerto Rican, and he has claimed some various heritages and is apparently not enrolled in any tribe. So I think that there's some question marks there, but also if you have Hispanic heritage, it's more likely that you do have some sort of indigenous heritage. But I think there's a question of like, how culturally connected is he to any sort of Native American culture? Yeah.
So he's next. Victor Willis handpicked Alex Briley, who was the GI. And then later they had the other ones, but they were a group that was like a hobby group basically. And so when they were like, we're going to like really go for it and be like a full-time group, they had to find replacements for the other 3 members. So they had an advertisement out in the paper that said macho types wanted, must dance and have a mustache. And so that's where you get the construction worker, the
cowboy,
leatherman, and the cowboy. And then this movie was originally called, while it was in production, Disco Land, Where the Music Never Ends.
That's the full title? Disco Land, Where the Music Never Ends.
Correct. Yeah.
Huh.
So just the economy of language we want to think about, I think. Can't Stop the Music, 1980. It is directed by Nancy Walker. It is written by Alan Carr and Bronte Woodard, produced by Alan Carr, Henri Bololo, and Jacques Morali. It stars the Village People: Valerie Perrine, Caitlyn Jenner, Steve Guttenberg, Paul Sand, Tammy Grimes, June Havoc, Barbara Rush, Altaviz Davis, Marilyn Sokol, and the Ritchie family. Cinematography is by Bill Butler. Oh, I'm sorry. I shouldn't pass by this. June Havoc, the person I mentioned like mere seconds ago, you may recognize the name June.
There are many people with that name.
You may recognize Dainty June. She is the original memoirist that wrote the Gypsy Rose Lee memoir. That it's like
that's what? Dainty June.
That June is Steve Guttenberg's mom.
Steve's
in
mom.
This movie.
Wow. Oh my gosh.
Which I can see now. Like clearly they leaned in on that character. She's like a Broadway baby.
She's an overbearing mom.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's edited by John F. Burnett. Its music is by Jacques Morali. The color process is Metro Color, guys. Very exciting to know. Production company is EMI Films. It is distributed by Associated Film Distribution. It was released on June 20th, 1980. Pride. Its running time is an exhausting 124 minutes. This movie should be 78 minutes at most.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the perfect length for a film that is this unserious. Mm-hmm. The budget was estimated like $13.5 to $20 million, which was really expensive at the time. And it only made $2 million at the box office. So this opened the same weekend as the Blues Brothers, which is crazy to think about.
Yeah.
We're also 2 weeks before the production of this movie had started, the principal photography began, was the night that there was like the disco burning.
The burning.
The night the disco died, is that what it's called?
Yes. Yeah. 2 weeks before the production of this movie began, which is just absolutely bonkers. And then there were people saying like while they were making the movie or whatever, there were people being like, why are you making this so long after Saturday Night Fever, which was obviously the other really big like disco.
That felt like it was right before it, like was right before
the crest.
The crest.
Yeah.
So it was, yeah. And
I will say Saturday Night Fever came out in 19 77 and this is 1980. So I don't know if I really buy the, like, that was so long ago.
But also, like,
I don't know.
disco in the 70s, it was like so hot and so fast. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
I'm trying to think if there's anything now that would be an equivalent of like, but I mean, like, if somebody made a movie based on like a TikTok that was popular 3 years later, right? Like that would be
right.
But that moves so fast. I don't know. I'm trying to think if we have anything that's kind of in that same
It's
level.
like, okay, in Drag Race this season, they lip synced to a song that was a TikTok remix that was like viral, obviously, like when they were filming. So like last year. So people were like, that's why we can't do TikTok songs, because it's like this was a challenge last year and it's done.
Right.
Which one?
Right.
Which one?
It was the Gaga sped up.
The sped
I'll
up.
dance with my
Okay, so anyway, so this movie was a flop. That's the point of the story.
Yeah.
Floopity flop.
Floopity flop. So Nancy Walker, the director of this film, this is her only full theatrical film.
Mm-hmm.
She had originally been signed to do a 3-film run. 3 films she was going to direct. This and then Chicago. She was going to direct the filmed version of Chicago. And then
early, like in the 80s, they would.
The Josephine Baker story starring Diana Ross.
Whoa.
Wow.
So Chicago, as we know, ends up coming out in 2001, I believe, 2002. And then the Josephine Baker story does not star Diana Ross, but it does come out on HBO in 1991. So that did also happen eventually. Neither of them were directed by Nancy Walker because she was like, I'm never doing this again.
Fuck this.
Nancy
gig.
Walker, if you've ever watched the Mary Tyler Moore Show, there's a character named Rhoda. There's also a Rhoda spinoff. She played Rhoda's mom. So she was like an actress first and foremost. But she had directed like some television episodes. And so this was her first time going to do
There were moments in the movie that I was like, this feels like a sitcom. Like I feel like I'm watching
the scenes that work the best in this movie are the scenes where it's like the most sitcom-y energy.
Just like talking in a kitchen.
The scene on the plane when they're having the like crepla. And it's like it's very bitty. That is so funny. That worked so well. And it was the only time I laughed. It's such a shame.
I don't think I laughed once, honestly.
Yeah. So that's the story of Miss Nancy Walker. Great name, Nancy.
Great Hollywood name.
Great Hollywood name. So Perrine, what was her name? Valerie Perrine. She was not supposed to be the original version of this character. Originally, they wanted Olivia Newton-John.
Oh, that would have been fabulous. Yeah.
And
she was busy.
It was this. So they were like in contract negotiations with her. And then later the like Aaron Carr was like, oh, she demanded too much. And she was like, I didn't demand, which is because obviously they'd worked together on Grease.
Oh yeah.
So she was like that. I don't know why later subsequent interviews, it was like, brought up and she was like, I didn't do anything different than what I did with Grease, which was just we requested that my like music producer write 2 original songs for me to sing, which was what happened in Grease. That was what the deal was going to be for this. And then they just didn't want to like do that or whatever. So then she ended up doing Xanadu instead.
It's very weird because I don't feel this movie is very precious in that way. I mean, I guess unless he was like, they have to be Village People songs because it's about them.
I mean, that does kind of make sense to say like if we're making a biopic.
Well,
then the music has to be from the group. Yeah.
I mean, this is whatever. Yeah. We'll talk about that.
I don't want to like get into criticism too quickly, but like Valerie Perrine, as I was watching it, I was like, so this is like a model that they cast, and that's why the acting's not so great. And then I looked her up, and she was an actress. She was an actress.
She was nominated for an Academy Award for Best Actress like 4 years before this film.
Whoa.
And I was like, I mean, the script is I can't stress enough how bad the script is.
Yeah.
It's really bad.
It's so not even heavy handed. It's just.
But there are, like, one of the criticisms, and obviously we'll talk more about this, but like, I really think, especially with her character, she just, she just has nothing to do. She has
Yeah.
nothing to like act against. She's no conflict.
She's like a narrator almost, where it's like, and now we're gonna do this.
Yeah.
Somebody will every time somebody's
process.
like, what do we do next? She's like,
well,
oh, okay, now we sell the demo tape and now we do this. And I'm like, girl, are you backpack? Are you the map from Dora the Explorer?
Are you an MC? Like, are you MCing the movie?
I was so frustrated.
What's going on?
So that was that. There were huge tensions between Nancy Walker and Valerie Perrine to the point that Nancy Walker would not even direct the film when Valerie was in a scene. So the director of cinematography had to take over and direct those scenes.
Valerie Perrine was in 90% of this movie.
Right.
Yeah.
She is in most of this movie. So like, how much did you direct Nancy Walker?
So then do we think it was because she wasn't directed? Also with the script?
I have not seen Valerie Perrine's other work.
No.
My guess is that she is a stronger dramatic actress than she is what this role, I would say, requires of her, which is like a light comedic energy.
Yeah.
Nancy Walker being someone who comes from sitcoms and like probably hears the rhythm in the dialogue. It's like, why are you not finding
You know
the
who would
joke?
have been great?
Because Mama, none of her jokes land. Not a single joke. Almost none of the jokes in this movie land whatsoever, to be clear.
No.
I didn't realize that there were jokes until just now.
Allegedly. On paper.
If Samantha was meant to be like a funny character, like a Goldie Hawn would have been really fun. Like someone a reason for people to want to corral around her, because that's essentially what this character does. Is she gets the people to join and buy into it.
She just has we can't do this.
We'll get there again.
This RJ, this is for you. This did have I don't know if you remember in the first half of this movie, they were like, I'm gonna go on a Baskin Robbins run. Do you remember that when that happened? There was an ice cream flavored tie-in with the film at the time, promoted in stores. It was called Can't Stop the Nuts.
I told my coworker today that I need to have a word with the person who decided that the word ball would describe both like a literal object that children play with and something that's not appropriate to say in front of children, because I spend so much time around adolescent boys where I have to be like, okay, you can't touch the balls right now. And then they're laughing and I'm like, right. But like, this is also, that is what this thing is called. Like there's no way around me using this word sometimes. And it's so frustrating.
So at the Razzies, let's get into our award segment.
Important recognition.
Important accolades.
Accolades.
This was nominated for Worst Original Song, You Can't Stop the Music, Worst Supporting Actress, Worst Actress, Worst Actor, and Worst Director.
Wait, who's the supporting actress?
Okay, I don't know if I agree with this. Let me make sure I'm getting... Okay, they said Worst Supporting Actress was Lulu. Which Lulu was great.
She was great.
But Lulu was like the only one who's like giving camp.
Yeah, Lulu no one else.
Absolutely my favorite character. I mean, she's my MVP. I'll tell you right now. Yeah.
100%. 100. The women in this film are great. I gotta be really, well, besides but everybody else is great.
Yeah.
The like agent lady, I was like, this is such a stock like bitch role. I love.
I knew that actress because she was in the BBC filmed version of Tartuffe that we would play for our intro to theater kids.
Oh my God.
I know.
That's so funny.
Who was she?
She was the wife, the lead actress of Tartuffe. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I know.
Who was that? Kate Kinsey. That's right. I was like the redhead. Yeah. So, and then it wins Worst Screenplay and Worst Picture. And technically, I'm going to bring down the mood a little bit. When it won Worst Screenplay, Bronte Woodard had passed 7 months before. So to this day, it's the only posthumous Razzie that's ever been given.
Oh my God.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like maybe they realized that giving one of these posthumously doesn't feel good and made sure that that didn't happen in the future.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's all that. I think we should really get into this. Let's go.
Let's dive in.
Let's not stop the music. So anyone
want to start?
I will. Okay.
Do
Molly.
Yeah.
Do we want to do a sandwich?
A compliment sandwich?
Yeah.
I will have to say this first. The movie starts, okay?
Yes.
And Adam and I are like, I can't. We both were like, I cannot believe Molly has to watch this movie.
Oh,
just blatant statement as the movie starts, right?
Yeah.
Because it's hitting all the marks in the first 5 minutes, I would say.
Yeah.
It's
immediately it's disco.
Immediately it's disco. So that's strike number one. Mm-hmm. Strike number two, the opening song is a song about how New York is the only city in the world.
It is.
Yeah.
We were doing like joke lyrics, but also the song goes on for 7 minutes.
Yeah,
like, it's
literally.
so long.
Like a 12-minute
and there are 146 verses. I swear to God, it's incredible. And each lyric of each verse is like, New York, the only city with people. New York, the only place you can get a bagel. New York.
New York, the city of nightlife. The city of bright lights, we're doing our part. New York, the city of fashion, the city of passion. This town has a heart. Listen to the sound of the city.
Not only is all of that true, but also one of the visuals of it are three women who roller skate past him wearing shirts that say San Francisco. And I saw it and went, wait, what city are we in? I was like, am I dumb for not realizing? But I was like, no, they're saying New York.
They're singing New York. And then they keep showing the B-roll. I'm like, that's New York skyline.
I was like, hold on. We would see the Golden Gate Bridge if it was San Francisco, right?
And then, listeners, dear listeners, Steve Guttenberg walks by the store.
A storefront.
He looks through the window and three mannequins all of a sudden look to him because they're actually three.
I can't even get past it.
Because it was so egregiously Molly nightmare fuel. Because it was three women in like A-line skirts, and like.
Well, one was Marilyn.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. Yeah. And they literally turn the head.
It's very clearly supposed to be that they are mannequins and that they appear out of mannequindom.
Yeah.
So that they can watch Steve Guttenberg.
We were already kikiing about how like Molly's gonna have a fucking time of her life, and then that scene happened and we were like, oh no.
Archie goes, should we text her?
Should we
let her know?
Should I let her know? But Adam was like, no, it's too late.
Can I tell you what though? It was like the circle went all the way around to a point where I actually kind of enjoyed the process of watching the movie because it was so bad.
Exactly.
It was so perfectly bad that it really did go all the way around. I mean, yeah, I was watching it thinking, I want RJ to understand watching this, that this is how I feel when any disco happens. This movie is just, if the tone finally fits what I feel,
how you actually feel about it
in a person. Yeah,
absolutely.
So let's start our sandwich.
Let's start with a nice piece of bread.
Nice, gorgeous piece of challah.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Okay. I will start with my bread.
Okay.
Steve Guttenberg. Is a fucking snack.
He's so hot.
I'm sorry. I stared at his tits the entire time.
His tits?
Yes. His
bazoomas.
His bazoomas on all of the tight crop t-shirts that he was wearing. I'm sorry. I don't like saying
Form
it.
fitted.
But he looked great.
It felt like you like saying it.
Do you not like saying it? Yeah.
I don't like saying it, but I love saying it.
But let me motorboat that man.
And the entire time I was like, he's
very cute.
He's very cute, but
he's very good.
Because his career takes off in the 80s, right? Or was he already like a decent star by? Because it's like the late 80s, early 90s movies, like Three Men and a Baby. It was those movies that really like catapulted him. So it was like I felt very much like young Keanu in Babes in Toyland. It was like that energy for me. I was like, ooh, like they're capturing like a star in its birth.
I would say of everyone in this movie, if we're doing like a Grease 2 parallel, he is the Michelle Pfeiffer, where he will have a career past this movie.
Yeah.
Caitlin does not really have a career past this movie. The next movie Caitlin does is an Adam Sandler movie that also won the Razzie for for worst picture.
Caitlin is probably the most famous person that appeared in this movie.
Yeah. Totally.
Correct.
But not due to an acting career. Yeah.
Not due to an acting career, no. But also hugely famous at the time for winning a decathlon. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Which is
10.
10.
But what 10 events?
What 10?
Running.
I think there's.
Should I look it up?
Kinds
Swimming?
of running.
Oh, so like short
There might
distance,
be like
long distance.
shooting. There's like maybe there's like pole vaulting is more what I'm thinking. Like not like different kinds of running, but like different track and field.
They're all track and field.
It's all track and field. Hold on. Where the fuck is the list?
There it is.
Oh, here we go. 100 meter, long jump, shot put, high jump, 400 meter, 110 meter hurdle, discus throw, pole vault, javelin throw, 1500 meters. That sounds so boring. I wanted it to be like
kinds of running too. Yeah.
You want it to be like I wanted to be like he plays it's a basketball event, and then the next day you go on a marathon, and then the next day you swim like to Cuba,
And then you play 18 holes.
Yes, and then you play a round of mini golf.
Yeah, that's fun, but it should also be that you don't know the events ahead of time.
Yes.
you
You find
don't
out
prepare.
day of what you're going to be doing that day. Yeah.
Totally.
Just like the Triwizard Tournament.
Yes, exactly.
Yes.
Exactly. Wow.
A hedge maze.
Hedge maze.
Yes,
Why are
and
there more hedge mazes in the Olympics?
of a maze, you have to do the event.
You have to do, now pole vault. Yeah.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah, hedge
Come
maze, a
on.
famously bad way to do a spectator sport, but something they pull off in Harry Potter somehow.
But no, they don't. None of those people were enjoying just sitting watching a maze.
We don't get the perspective of anybody watching the hedge maze task, but it
No.
seems like a
Only
bad
when they
idea.
come back and then Amos goes, "My son, my boy." Which is a very affecting moment. in
Wow,
that
I can't
film.
believe you're making fun of this moment.
this fictional moment. Yeah,
This is
I
not a
am.
joke to the rest of us.
Some of us were really traumatized by Cedric Diggory's death. Okay.
Yeah, Steve.
Okay, so Steve,
so that was
great.
That was a
That was
compliment. So now we get a criticism.
Yes, let's put a layer in there.
What do we?
This is bad. The movie is bad. That's my layer.
Oh.
We've said this. The script is not good. The cuts are too long.
Where is the? Can you explain to me where the conflict in this movie is?
Molly, there was no tensiveness.
There
Do
was
you know what
no
I mean?
tensiveness.
Where's the tension?
I just feel like there's like a million movies about people becoming famous, and I don't like fame movies famously, but
Yeah.
but like they manage to have plots, you know?
We literally
it's
went from A
not-
Star Is Born.
Well, usually
to
the movies that are about people getting famous, it's about the people getting famous. It's not about the
Yes.
made up characters that are tertiary.
making the
to-
people famous.
Yeah.
Do you
Why
think
is
it's
this not about the
because-
village people?
Well, okay. So one thing is, I'm guessing that because they were musicians and not actors, they like weren't comfortable really being
The spotlight
main
on them.
characters.
Yeah.
But also, do you think it's because like they were formed by these like French producers that the producers were behind it, and they were like, yeah, the real story is like the
This
guy
is the
behind the band?
producers. It does feel a little Max Martin in that way, like back in the 90s, like the guy who made like NSYNC and Backstreet Boys. Like it feels very much that.
Well,
But also,
there's-
it's not them. It's not at all about like he's clearly not supposed to be
No.
no.
two Frenchmen. So
Yeah.
They are.
That's true.
This movie is completely fictionalized series of events. Even weirder when you realize that the main guy who was the main vocalist like had just left the group like right
Yeah.
before this. It's very strange. Oh fuck! I had
Explain the no conflict thing to the listeners. The
felt-
listeners aren't going to watch. So.
I felt like this movie until about an hour and 20. Now there was a clear drive. They had something they wanted.
yeah, that's true.
They wanted to get a record deal, or
Stardom.
Jack wanted to do music. That was really what it is.
Yeah.
It wasn't until the like scene where they record the demo and it doesn't go well, that I was like, oh, their first obstacle in this 2-hour film that was an hour and 25 minutes into this movie. And I was like, what? Oh, I wanted to say this movie is very clearly drawing from the Judy Garland, Mickey Rooney, like let's put on a show type musical, like from way back when. Like that's what it's drawing inspiration from very clearly. But like that, first of all, those movies did not have a $20 million budget, sweetheart.
Yeah.
What are we doing? And secondly, you had like extremely charming leads.
They had Judy Garland and
Mickey and Judy like made careers off being extremely charming and like cute and funny. Like none of the I mean, Steve Guttenberg is good in this, but like he cannot right the ship that is this wild casting choice. I'm glad you had fun watching this, Molly. I wish I'd had more fun watching this. I was like bummed. And I think it was because I was like, oh, it's going to be like gay. And you know what? As we've said before, this is not gay.
We have to give one more compliment before we're allowed to talk about
before we go into the gays.
Okay. We got to get that middle bun in there like a Big Mac.
I think the scene where he's high and then he sees a cop is pretty funny.
Yeah.
That's the only joke that landed for me.
We said Lulu. Lulu is great.
Lulu is great. Yeah.
All the women are great. The mom is great.
The mom,
the other mom is great.
There's
both
nothing
moms,
that shows that this movie, well, it is not explicitly a gay movie, is obviously a gay movie than the fabulousness of the moms and the middle-aged women.
The middle-aged mom, yes.
It is,
yes.
I have never seen a movie before that is so full of men who are not hitting on women and then women who are
fabulous.
Who are fabulous. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like all the moms could have been drag roles.
Fabulous.
Like that's how like just like full of spice and life.
RJ and I were convinced for the first 10 minutes that Lulu was on
a drag
screen,
girl.
that we were like, is that Tim Curry?
There's very Frankenfurter energy.
Super.
From Lulu.
Yeah.
She has such a strong, like you're watching this movie where it feels like nobody has ever acted in anything before. And then she like makes this phone call where she's like, I'm distressed. You must call, blah, blah, blah. Where she's like clearly doing this bit about not really caring about the phone call. And it's like such a breath of fresh air of like, she's doing a bit. Somebody's making a choice. Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like I'm sure Nancy Walker was like, thank you. Thank you so much for understanding comedy.
What we're trying to do here.
Okay, back to the criticism.
Okay, back to the gays. Okay.
The gays.
Why? Okay, it's 1980, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's not going to be like, hey, we're going to go to the anvil where Felipe was discovered and like, which is like was a notorious gay sex club, right? I'm not saying that this movie needs to be that.
Right.
But it is weird that like it is so devoid of sexuality to the point that even like Lulu flirts with Felipe and he kind of flirts back, I guess. I mean, not really, but like, I think you're supposed to believe that
these are straights.
That is what is confusing. So like, okay, so they give the women all of the sexual advances. That's like part of the rules of the movie, it seems to be, is that only women can hit on anybody. Yeah. And so Felipe does seem like interested. And also amazing choice that Lulu is like talking about how much she likes him and thinks he's cute or whatever. And then she comes out with like the stuff and she mouths, I love you.
Yes.
Which is so buck wild. So the men don't ever hit on anybody, but yeah, Felipe like seems kind of interested in her. And then, Sam, they make like such a point about how he and oh god, what's the woman's name? Who's the main character?
Oh, Samantha.
Wait, what's the boy?
Steve's character? Jack.
Okay. So Jack and Sam spend all this time being like, we are only platonic friends. And I was like, oh, okay, I get it. It's a Village People movie. Like, we understand. But then she has some line where she says like, oh, I haven't heard the click clack of any stewardess's heels, to tell you that like he usually is sleeping with women. And he says, no, I like swore off any of that until we get our big break. So there's like this weird line to be like, but he is hetero. I want everybody to know that. Like, I don't.
It's very like don't worry. Don't walk out of the movie. He's straight.
He's straight. why? I mean, the thing is, like, why not just leave it ambiguous? I get that you're not going to say it, but like make it ambiguous. Because then also, like, Sam has this whole thing where she has an argument with Ron, and Ron says this thing about like, your friends are too much, too weird for me. And Sam says like, well, I don't judge people unless they're, if what they're doing is not hurting anybody, I'm not going to judge them, which is like very clearly like, it's clearly meant to be an anti-homophobic message, but like, they did all this like, oh, but maybe they're straight stuff. It's very confusing.
It's like you can leave it ambiguous, not even having to like lead the questions. Because when they were at the bar where Jack was playing the music, and that's where like Felipe was literally like dick butt out, shaking dick and butt in front of the camera. Okay,
stop saying dick.
I just need everyone to know they were showing him gyrate, and then watching Sam like dance with like clearly
clearly gay,
so gay
the
men.
Construction worker for some reason was the one that I was like, I can try to suspend my disbelief for the rest of these guys, but I cannot do it with the construction worker,
because they do a good job of showing like, okay, the cop is with Alicia, like they are a couple, and when you explained that they were like he was straight and was married, and I was like, okay, that makes sense, because every other character does stay ambiguous except for this one tiny moment.
I was like, if they were straight, why would Sam not get with one of the members of the band? Is the thing. They do all this work to be like, no, they're straight, but like they also write Sam this separate love interest because she can't be with any of that. Like, it can't be weird.
Yeah.
It's the weirdest thing about the Steve thing is like, just let him. You already had decided that he and Sam were not going to be together. You're not going to put him with a man, so just like leave it.
Don't even talk about him in a relationship. It's because that's not bizarre. Even in a script. It's just like that's your MO is just this whatever.
Yeah, it could just this movie takes place over what, a couple months, maybe.
Yeah.
We're not going to be sitting here thinking, why isn't this character dating anyone in this period of time? Like we'll understand that that's not what the movie's about. You don't need to.
It's very clear. It's really not about him. I mean,
most movies you watch, most characters are not actively dating somebody while you're watching it. That you're aware of.
It would be one thing if there was no romance in the film whatsoever. Then I can see why they were like, well, we have to justify this for some reason. But like,
there was,
you give and like. The romance, like it's not good, bad, but like that's not why. I don't know. I
think the movie being so, it's talking about disco. It's talking about Village People. They sing a song called Liberation. Mm-hmm. Like it goes poorly. That goes poorly because gay rights it's just not ready. It's not tough. Time. It's not time yet. But like they go to the YMCA.
Mm-hmm. Adam cannot handle himself.
This is a PG film, and there is full male frontal nudity in this film, guys.
It is, yeah.
It is.
It's crazy.
Flopping in a shower.
There's like partial female frontal nudity. I mean, when Sam's in that hot tub, you can see,
the word that RJ said earlier about Steve Gutenberg, you can see those.
Yeah. We'll let that live in RJ's mouth and not in ours. But
yeah, we are good Christian women, me and Molly. Onward, Christian soldiers. Sorry, that was stupid.
The YMCA scene is literally a homoerotic exhibition. Like, it could be in the Louvre.
Homo erectus.
It is truly a beautiful artistic montage of just the male physical body in different forms of sport, activity, and camaraderie.
If you have ever been to a middle-aged gay man's house and they have like tasteful nudes of musculature,
they all look like the men in the YMCA sequence in this movie.
It is the video. It is the moving video representation of those art pieces.
Yeah. But there is nothing said. It is just, this is the YMCA, which I do think like that's what I really like about the Village People. Like their music is very gay and it does speak to like gays, especially during disco where it was very sexually fluid. Like that was the whole thing in Studio 54. Like that was a whole thing, right? Of like people just being able to enjoy themselves. Yes, live and let live. And like the fact that today YMCA is still played at every heterosexual like wedding, like there's something kind of like, there's something really cool about like this very gay homoerotic like piece of culture is like for some reason accepted in like
it's in the like what the Library of Congress has like very specific art pieces that they've like added ceremoniously as like a national like cultural cultural import or whatever. And like YMCA is one of the songs that has been added to the collection of being like, this is a culturally significant thing for Americans.
I mean, I feel like the Village People there was always like a veneer of, we're not going to quite say it. Right.
Yes.
So like, I guess I also went into it not expecting it to be like,
totally.
But again, where it's like, why, like, I wish the movie was having more fun and giving us a little wink about like, oh, well, you're not going to see him dating any women, but like, we're not going to say why. Like that I think would be fun. I would enjoy a movie that was like so clearly not addressing it, right?
Yeah.
But instead they like did all these little no homo bits that I was like confused by. Yeah.
It's like through the negging to kind of like to deflect rather than just like being, you know, more clever and witty about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is
did Alan Carr? I think I read that Alan.
Oh,
it's right there, Alan. I think he wrote or produced Lagage.
Oh, really?
So there's like I think like this is a person that can do a wink and a nudge. So it's just very interesting.
Right. Was it fear that they didn't, were they like, there's already too much talk about that and we can't kind of like push it that far over the top? Was it when Willis was still involved and was like, this group is getting too gay for me? Like what? I'm confused about what motivated them to be so like afraid of the implications that their gay group was gay.
Or was this like maybe like still too early in like how, you know?
I mean, yes, but I feel like we've watched things that are from before this that were less anxious about
anxious, like more just like smarter way to cut. Because the thing with
more
this movie,
happy about ambiguity. Yeah.
Because the thing with the movie is like, it definitely is like, if you know, you know, there is a level of that. You see the Leatherman come in what he's wearing and singing "Oh Danny Boy" in like a very like pretty voice. Mm-hmm. You know, like all the different guys auditioning, you know, the Muscle Man, like they look like Tom of Finland illustrations. Like it's clearly meant to be like, if you know what's going on, you don't have to ask. So like, maybe it's more of like they would rather not say anything, but even then it's like, even if just leaving it ambiguous, you're right. It's the act of saying like, well, it's not this, that it's like,
right.
I mean, I think the problem is like, okay. I mean, yes, I didn't think this movie was going to be like, here's a movie about gays. I really didn't think this movie was going to do that, but it is.
I thought it was going to be more playful with it though.
I thought it was going to at least not. I thought it was not. I was like, oh, when like Felipe got on the screen, I was like, oh, he's going to be the one that they're allowed to be like, oh, and he's gay, or like they're going to make the jokes about him. Like he's going to be the one who's game for the
He'll have the access.
Right.
Yeah.
But they didn't even do that. And so that's what I think I was surprised about, especially because like it's called The Village People. It's about, the point is like, it's all these people of Greenwich Village, which was like at the time it was where all the gays lived before it's Hell's Kitchen. But that was the only thing that I was like,
and Molly, you know all the New York neighborhoods,
of course,
right?
I'm very into New York. I love New York. I'm all about it. Yeah.
Well, it's the only city.
It's the only city. I really appreciate that about it. Yeah.
Nobody else lives anywhere else.
Nope.
Only New York.
Yeah. Everything else is a province.
Yeah. We all live in cornfields.
Yes.
The cornfields of San Diego.
Yes, exactly.
Villages.
Should we play a little YMCA?
Sure.
Let's give the people what they want.
Never heard it before.
Let's give our moms what they want.
It's fun to stay at the YMCA.
you've heard it. We all know it.
I will say if there is a music number that one of the few musical numbers in this movie, this is the one number that I would recommend people watching because it is. It's fun. It's fun to see the choreography.
Yeah.
Of boys boxing.
It's the one big number.
You know, it's like the big number.
Yeah. They really went all out with. There's a lot going on, and I feel like
musculature.
If the rest of the movie had been this sort of like, what would be the most fun video to go with this famous Village People song? That also could have been a better version of this movie.
That's a great movie.
Yeah.
And that wasn't this movie.
A visual album of the Village People ... now would have been.
This is the Village People now.
This is the Village People now.
I mean, honestly, all this backstage stuff we're talking about, like Willis leaving the group and whatever, it seems to me like this film is calling for a revival that's actually about the making of the movie, right? Like,
it's the making of The Room.
Exactly.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
Like, I mean, I don't want it because it's going to be so much disco, but like someone wants it, you know?
Yeah.
This one.
Me.
RJ wants it. Yeah.
It could be like a fun Showtime limited series.
Did you feel like when you were watching this, did you feel like this was the largest YMCA ever built?
They had a lot of rooms. Yeah.
They had so many games and events and sports going on.
They're doing full hurdles at the YMCA.
Full hurdles.
And people live there, right? That's the whole idea of staying at the YMCA is like they had like a room you could rent.
The iconic part is like the song The YMCA. It's tongue in cheek about like being like you can find a guy to cruise at the YMCA. Like it's a fucking gay joke. Come on.
Wasn't it also though? I thought you could. It used to be that you could rent a room at the YMCA, and so it was also it was also a bit of like, hey, did you get kicked out by your family?
You're down on your down on your luck. Yeah.
Look at all the guys that'll take care of you.
Yeah.
Oh, what a time.
Hey, why does Samantha marry Ron?
Why is really?
You could have cut that entire, like, truly, you could have cut Caitlyn Jenner's entire character and
no
like
purpose.
not a iota of this film would have been any different.
No,
because they had to make Ron like the financier.
It's almost weird that they don't just make Samantha and Jack get together.
Right.
Yeah. Just hetero it up.
Or just don't have a love plot line. That's okay too.
It's
the 80s.
That's never gonna make it on Hollywood.
Ron exists. I feel like Ron is the only like change that Ron goes through is becoming less homophobic, but they're not allowed to say that Ron's becoming less homophobic.
I know, because it can't be like, well, that's why Ron doesn't.
He was like, well, people aren't like this in St. Louis.
Yeah, and then like shocking that her homophobic boyfriend turns out to also be a misogynist. Who could have guessed that those two things would go together? So he's like constantly like questioning her and getting upset about things and whatever. And this is a woman who was like the most famous. This would be if like
literally.
Gigi Hadid met a tax lawyer that she slept with one time, and then he was mean to her, and then he proposed, and she was like, I guess I should say yes because you've asked me. Like, what?
Because Gigi Hadid's ex is literally like, I don't know, who's a Diplo, like a famous music producer.
And I get that like the ex is also awful, like also don't be with him, but like when he proposes, she just is like, I don't even know what to say. Like, she doesn't seem excited. And I understand this movie was made in the 80s and they like had to be a love plot line, and I guess they have to get married. But like, it hadn't even occurred to me for a moment that that's where this movie was going until he asked her. Like, I did not think that these characters were meant to end up together.
The craziest part of this movie is that it starts with Jack, and you're like, okay, so it's not about the Village People, it's about Jack. And then the end, it's not about Jack either. It's like really about his friend who used to be the biggest model in the world getting married to a
lawyer.
It's his dream that propels us forward, but like not in no way does he ever make a choice to help the dream happen.
No.
It's like he has a dream and then another character takes action to fulfill it.
Yes.
Which is mostly Samantha and then a little bit his mom. And
iconically.
then it's fulfilled, but like he literally never once, I feel like, does a thing. Like, he makes the tape once people have gotten him the deal or whatever, but like he never does anything to pursue the dream.
Mm-hmm.
I wish they just like cleaned up those characters. Either like keep it just Sam and Jack, or if they really wanted this love story, if they really wanted like an outsider of like, I am being changed to like, change my ways to give this music a chance, then I almost wish that like Sam was like both Jack and Sam. Like I was a model, but I overworked myself and now I just like hanging out with my friends and all my friends are really talented. So I want to make them be musicians,
been fun. Yeah. So it was like, not even like I had a music dream. It's just like, she just sees them singing one day and is like, do you know what? Like I've been looking for a new project and it would be fun to put all you boys together. Yes. And that would be fun.
Yeah.
I gotta say the irony of Caitlyn Jenner playing a role where this is like, this character is so square, like such a loser, and Caitlyn Jenner is such a square fucking loser. Like this, the beautiful poetic irony of that.
Honestly, remaining a poor ally to the LGBTQ community that she is now a part of, like just the most not helpful contributor to the community. Of course,
Caitlyn Jenner is the star of this movie, which should be about gay people and decides to not be. Like,
full circle.
Yeah.
Malibu, baby.
I will say the one other musical number that I lived for.
You didn't live for any of these.
Yes, I did, Adam. And you are a liar for saying that you did not live for Milk.
Oh.
Your dairy drinking ass.
Why did we suffer through Milk mustaches of the 90s when all they needed to do was put this on the television?
Ziegfeld
Why
Follies
does she look so bad in this?
She looks 88 years old.
The whole point is it being her big comeback as a model, and they could not have made her look worse. It's also, it's so long. It's so long. And there's a moment where she's like, one more time, that I was like, oh, good. This is the little stinger. Oh, it was not a little stinger.
She literally said one more time, and Adam and I gasped. We're like, no.
Because I had just commented that I was like,
this is so long.
Is supposed to be a commercial? Yeah. Like I was like, in what world if you just have one commercial in your commercial break? And then she right after
looks at the camera and says, one more time.
One more time. And I was like, this isn't even a one more time type of song, girl.
It's not.
Let's listen to a little bit of Milkshake. My milkshake brings all the way to the yard.
Chocolate, strawberry, yeah. Ow! Just do the shake, do the shake, do the shake, do the milkshake, the milkshake, do the shake.
One more time.
Do the shake, do the shake, do the shake, do the milkshake, the milkshake, do the shake, 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 do the milkshake, the milkshake.
It's just so funny that there are multiple lines in this movie about being like, this is the 80s, and it is the most 70s musical I think I've ever watched in my life.
If there's one thesis of this movie, it is this will be the sound of the 80s, and they could not be more wrong.
They literally said it constantly.
Yeah.
If you, I implore our listeners to find one person in the universe who, if you ask them what group or artist represents the sound of the 80s, if anyone says the Village People, I will walk into Lake Michigan and you will never see me again.
Not only do they say it directly about the kind of music, like they say, I'm sure minimum 3 times they say that about the music, but also then there's all these other references to like, this is the 80s, baby. You're like, there's going to be new stuff all around for the 80s. Like the whole movie is just obsessed with it becoming the 80s.
Yes. There's a line that while like Ron and Samantha are like having sex.
Yeah.
Where he's like, she's like, what are you doing? And he's like, it's the 80s. And I was like, but you have already set up that this is the guy from like St. Louis.
That he's boring.
First of all, you're not even correct on your like character. Like how you've written your characters. You're all over the place.
I want to ask you off pod what you think he did.
It had to be cunnilingus.
It had to be cunnilingus.
That was invented in the 80s.
For Samantha, it was.
Listeners, write in about when you think cunnilingus was invented.
That was what second wave feminism was about.
We have to have we had someone who wrote in about the first showing of Rocky Horror Picture Show. There's got to be someone who could tell
There's
us.
got to be someone who knows about
year.
the first showing of Cunnilingus. Yeah.
Someone wrote about the little comic that they released for Bedknobs and Broomsticks. There's got to be research
Someone
about
has to know.
Someone has to know.
Someone has to know.
Oh
my gosh.
Sure. As a person who thinks milk is a good beverage, fine.
But it doesn't. The song doesn't fit. The video is like very like showgirl, very Follies, but that doesn't.
It's very like variety show.
Yeah, like Sonny and Cher.
Sonny and Cher, yeah.
But it doesn't fit. Period.
I want to say one other thing. This movie was like really expensive to make, $20 million, whatever. Where's the $20 million?
Is the $20 million in the room with us?
Like, no, this film does not look expensive. Very clearly does not look expensive.
There are a lot of costumes, though.
It must have been all costumes.
I think it was mostly costumes.
A lot of costumes.
Yeah.
In what regard do you mean that?
Quantity.
I think we're looking right now at a screen of people in a milk commercial that are all in varieties of white costumes. The Village people have like their standard outfits, and they have the glitter outfits at the end.
The glitter outfits are the glitter. That's my top bun. That's the best.
Yeah.
The glitter. The amount of glitter at the end.
Yeah.
Of this
They
film
rhinestoned all of their costumes, so like their iconic costumes, but a glittered version, and then they all came in the transportation that fit their character that was also bedazzled. Like, the Olympics, bitch. Like it was like the opening ceremony of the Olympics.
Yes.
Like representing construction work.
They had to get so many pairs of gym shorts for the YMCA number.
Oh, like the singlets, bitch.
Yeah.
Just
Just say there's a lot of scenes with a lot of extras in it, and they all are costumed. So I just think that is, I feel probably,
and then catering, craft services to feed all of those extras.
Most of that,
yeah. That's where the $20 million.
Well, it's when they filmed this was like 1979, so like craft services would have been like an exciting meal of like Ritz crackers with like slices of cheese.
The cocaine budget that they had to put in there. You know what I mean? Yeah.
I think they should have upped the cocaine budget for this. I needed it a little bit more, or maybe a little bit more. Maybe I wanted more mushroom budget. Maybe we should have swapped, because cocaine is that's 80s,
honey. Wall Street,
that's why
bitch.
I said it.
Yeah,
but I think we needed a little bit more avant-garde.
I did like not speaking of. I mentioned this earlier, but there's a scene where Lulu convinces Jack to get high, and she is following him around trying to convince him to smoke this joint in a way that is famously not how drugs work at all, but the way that everybody portrayed it in the 80s and 90s, that like someone's going to be there pushing you so hard to do drugs, when in reality people do not like to give their drugs away for free. Like,
yes,
like the amount of convincing she's doing is very like, we're about to get into a just say no kind of a territory. Yeah.
No, what should Jack do?
Yeah.
What should Jack do? Oh yeah. We would pause there and
would pause. And ask. Yeah.
But then he did it.
She's fully doing like, also the more I'm thinking about this character of Lulu, the more I'm realizing that this actress is fully doing like a Gildner Radner moment from early Saturday Night Live. It's very funny. Is there anything else we really need to say? I gotta be really honest. I think I'm tapped out.
I mean, I'll say this. I appreciate this movie for acknowledging how much of show business success is just nepotism. It's at every stage they succeed because somebody affiliated with the group knows somebody. Totally. And that's honesty.
Networking.
That's showbiz, baby.
Yeah.
I do like, what I enjoyed most about this movie is that it really did crash and burn so hard. Rightly.
Yeah.
Because the confidence of being like, this is going to be the new sound, when it is just digging deeper into the current sound.
The already on its way out.
Already on its way out. Like it's about to fizzle. It did fizzle. They burned the records right before they filmed the movie.
Yeah.
It's amazing that happened before they filmed the movie rather than before they released it. You would understand a little bit more if it was before the release, but they should have known.
Yeah.
Because I do think that they probably were like, but they were a moment like this. The Village People is like, there is a legacy in this.
Yeah,
like,
absolutely.
In the disco era for sure. So I think they did feel a sort of like, well, we should revere because no one was going to make a movie about the Village People. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like they probably felt that way of like, if we don't tell this story, who knows if we'll ever tell stories about.
And we didn't tell the story in this movie either.
So.
And I think we can agree.
So the story will never be told.
I think we can agree that the Village People definitely deserve a better legacy than this film. That is definitely the point.
This should have been Bohemian Rhapsody. Bitch.
Like in what way? Like
I don't know. I just wanted to say something.
Okay.
Well, thank you for sharing, Adam.
You're welcome.
We knew you were here. You didn't need to remind us, Adam. It's okay.
I feel like you say that to your students, your kids.
Maybe
it's one of the,
Maybe we know you're still here. You don't have to let us know.
Yeah.
We know. Well, can't stop the music.
Let's stop the music.
We won't stop the music. You'll be surprised to learn that there is not great documentation of critic reviews of this film that are kept online.
Yeah.
So what I did find is a full review from The Advocate with its DVD release in 2002. This is by Alonzo Durlde. And I want to thank the Wayback Machine for keeping this article in existence.
I have a friend that works there.
Really?
Yeah.
Who?
Amandari.
Really?
And she moved to San Francisco. Yeah.
Whoa.
She works in their marketing department.
Wow.
Yeah.
Fanatics of disco and bad movies, to say nothing of bad disco movies, can rejoice that Can't Stop the Music has been released at last on DVD, allowing the film to be seen in its full, insane, anamorphic glory for the first time since its 1980 theatrical release. Part of the fun of watching this unhinged musical is the thoroughly queer meta-text. Eating its cake and having it too, Can't Stop the Music presents the macho archetypes of the Village People as being non-sexual, or worse, hetero, while at the same time throwing in lines like, they should all get down on their knees as a wink to the in crowd. The DVD's Village People story provides oddball factoids, such as the film's original title and the name of Baskin-Robbins tie-in ice cream flavor. Is this famous flop any better now than it was in 1980? Not necessarily, but in the pantheon of so bad you can't tear away your eyes cinematic train wrecks, Can't Stop the Music is absolutely a must view.
Okay, I will say I don't like a lot of I don't do a lot of it's so bad it's good. Because I think
it's actually very hard to do It's So Bad It's Good.
Yeah. This comes really close because the good is like fun.
I don't know if it's quite good, but like I said, I enjoyed it. And I feel like we've had a string recently of bad movies that I wasn't able to
find joy.
I wasn't able to find the joy, and I was able to find the joy in this movie.
Yes, totally.
So the critics' percentage on Rotten Tomatoes is 22%. So
it's bad.
Tough out here.
Letterboxd, we have 2.5 stars. So, a middle of the road film on Letterboxd over here where regular people review films. Sarah gave it 3 stars and says, I'm going to watch all the Razzies worst pictures, and this is the first. I have to say, I have seen worse pictures. Tracy McFace gave it 4 stars and said, if you've ever wanted to see a leather daddy sing Danny Boy, do I have a music for you?
I mean, we do. That is one of my favorite scenes in the movie.
Yes.
And Bummer Buddy gave it 4.5 stars.
Wow.
And so the movie opens with the protagonist rage quitting his job and then rolling away on roller skates. Also, it's a PG musical with full frontal male nudity. These are the pride vibes I seek. So congrats to all involved. As we roller skate into who is there also was not enough roller skating. I know technically he's roller skating that whole first bit, but like
that was it.
I needed one more number on roller skates. Who's everybody's MVP? I will no, I'll let Molly start.
I want to do who's your MVP, but then also I want to pose the question: if the Village People were like One Direction or like BTS, like right now, the Village People came.
Who's your bias?
Who would be your bias? Like, who's the member that
favorite?
you would have like? Who was your Harry Styles?
Who's your JC Chazé?
Doing a closer for me, so we'll do that after.
Okay.
Lulu is my MVP. Yeah, she is making choices. She is bringing a comedic perspective to the film that is sorely needed in every other character.
Definitely. RJ,
I'm gonna give it to Steve.
Jack.
Mr. Steve Guttenberg is Jack Morrell. There was a lot of promise in this character in the beginning. Because I was like, oh, like a plucky guy who like really just believes in his music and that his friends are the ones that can help him carry. I wish that was what ended up being the story, but he still does a really good job being very charismatic and he's got a great set. So
Jesus Christ. I'm going to go with the woman who played Sydney Channing, the agent. And that was Tammy Grimes.
She had a great moment of getting her nail getting caught in
her finger got caught in the telephone booth and she waited the whole day. That's stupid. That's funny. That's stupid funny.
There should have been more of that.
And then the way she just resolved it was she just pulled really hard.
Yeah.
And she got it unstuck. Great. That's something that would have happened in like, I think doesn't that happen in Adventures in Babysitting when she's like in the train station and she like, gets stuck at the bus station?
Yeah.
Yeah. In like a better movie, that's like one of the fun bits of that.
And like she could have been
unfortunately that's the
end
only
of
bit.
It. She could have been a really funny villain because her whole antagonizing is like, I want to get her back on employment, basically.
So they book a milk commercial.
Yeah.
And she's like, I want to redesign. She goes, I want to redesign milk bottles. I want them to have a cork.
I do. I also think maybe like you're putting something out, which is like she should have really been the villain of the movie, which would have been so fun. I feel like the movie was almost afraid to have an antagonist because it's about Greenwich Village and it was too focused on the like we all are friends and that's what's great about it.
Yes.
And it's like that's really lovely, but like someone can also be the antagonist. That would be great.
Yeah. Because you can just wrap it up at the end and they see the error of their ways.
Yeah.
It's a movie.
Velma Von Tussle, bitch.
Yeah. Shake your fanny muscle.
Okay, what was the closer, RJ, for just a little reminder?
Just a little explanatory comma. Yes, like who would be, in K-pop terms, who would be your bias? So like who was the one that grabbed your attention that would have made you been like, that's my Harry Styles. You know, that is the member that I'm having the picket signs for.
It's my Niall Horan.
My Niall. Yeah, who's the one?
I feel like several of the answers are problematic, so it's kind of narrowing down the options I feel like I can pick from.
Several?
Well, I feel like obviously the Indian is problematic in terms of the portrayal of Native American culture. I feel like picking the cop is a bad look, you know?
Yeah. But the cop has the voice.
The cop does have the voice. That's the thing.
The cop is the voice.
The cop is the voice.
Now, I want to talk about the cowboy because he looks at that camera with a level of intensity that I can't
Yes,
decide.
Molly, I was going to pick the cowboy too. I was going to pick the cowboy too. The entire time, the cowboy has like the boyish moppy hair.
Yes.
Yeah.
But then the mustache, and he has like, he's like skinny buff. He's not like buff like the leather man, but he has like enough muscles that fill out that. And every time he has these gorgeous brown eyes that when he looks at the camera, it's very boyish, but like it's all, but still like I don't know.
But he's really looking at the camera in a way that is it borders on too much for me. I'm not sure. I'm not sure about it.
I would say he has the least amount of dialogue, which makes me think he probably was like I just stand and dance and look pretty.
No, the GI has. I don't think the GI has like a single line in this film, except for when he comes in.
He has a little scene with Alicia. I don't think the cowboy ever speaks a line, but the GI does have a couple of lines.
The cowboy. There's a really weird moment in this movie where Samantha is walking down the street with Felipe, and then he moves out of the frame, and then the cowboy steps into the frame, and she continues the conversation, and she's trying to get them to like come sing at the thing tonight. But I was like, at first I was like, are they all supposed to be one person?
Yes, I literally was like, is this a super abstracted?
Right, like
I was like, I literally looked at.
I was like, oh, maybe people didn't like it because they didn't get it. It's too cerebral.
It happened, and I told Adam, I was like, are the Village People not real? Are they like? It's all a creation. Like the music evokes a group called the Village People.
Interesting.
Like the Muses and Xanadu.
Like the Muses. Yeah, it was the cowboy for me. I thought he was so cute. But I will say the costumes at the end felt so grand that I was like, if I was one of those girls one of those gay men in San Francisco at that club, I would be going crazy.
Oh my God.
A giant bedazzled Hummer just drove in with a gay soldier. Come on.
I would go crazy right now.
I will. Okay, I won't pick the cowboy. I would say probably in actuality in 1980 or whatever, I would be so attracted to the Indian. I'd be like, his body is so he's so hot.
The outfit is offensive, but he's a very attractive man. I mean, I think that's
for sure.
Correct. Yeah. Well, look, I'm glad. Yeah, I was gonna make a joke about like it's too bad there weren't any men in college that we were all into, but then I remembered that there actually was one man in college that we were all into, which we can discuss off pod. But we all clearly have some overlapping dates.
We all had a bleep us out. We all had a crush on Riley.
Oh, that's not who I was going to say either.
Oh, really?
I'll say it on the podcast.
Okay, we'll say it out pod.
Okay.
Martin. Was it Martin? We all had a crush.
We all were in love.
Well, and that's been Can't Stop the Music, guys. I don't know what to tell you. We really got in and out. This is about how long the movie should have been, to be quite honest.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So we nailed it on that front.
Do you recommend this movie?
Absolutely not.
In what context? I think if you can get some friends, I think you can get some friends over to like have a good time, maybe have some drinks. I think you can create a good context to watch the movie in.
Yeah. I would say smoke a little blunt, maybe do a little blow, and then
I'm not endorsing that.
I'm not doing that.
Do some fentanyl, and then
snuff a little Sharpie,
eat a little Tide Pod, and then
I'm going to use that now as a euphemism for doing any drugs for the rest of my life.
In the middle of Pride. Put this on.
Yeah.
This is a Pride.
You know what? You and your Judys are pre-gaming before you go out to the parade. Put this on while everyone's talking.
They each have like their own in the last number when they have their glitter outfits. They all have like a color they're representing. So like they're all like the rainbow. Like it's very clear.
It's all flashing back too, because when Sam was like, "Oh, do you have a hanky?" and the cowboy pulls out a hanky, like of the hanky code, like stuff like that. When she is with her ex-boyfriend and like she's trying to seduce him or whatever, and she says every like disco title, in like a long thing. I was like, okay,
she does.
There's moments.
There's a line in this movie where they're like, your mouth is big enough to fit two snowballs and a ding dong, and I was like, well, that's. I didn't say it was funny, but I was like, that's sexual.
That's gay.
That's something.
Yeah. That's something.
Okay, I can work with that. I said to RJ like 20 minutes once this movie started, I was like, it just feels like the first pass at the script.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like there was no punch up. They were like, no, this is good. Just go.
Because the thing is, if you wanted to, just all in this movie, just remove the fluff and insert already made music videos of the Village People, and it's a great time.
I don't know if I'd go that far, but you know,
it's a fun time.
I'll let RJ as the disco representative
because their music videos are really like what in the Navy music video is
Molly in the Navy music video shot in San Diego, obviously.
Yeah.
Famously.
Navy Town.
All right, that's enough.
All right, that's enough.
RJ, take us away with one of the songs that they did not feature in this film.
Okay. Macho man, yeah. I've got to be a macho. I've got to be a macho man. I've got to be a macho. Poetry.
Thank you. Thank you for listening to the best revival of a podcast, Showgays. You can find us on social media. Adam is at Adam Noecker on Twitter. RJ is at RJ Food Rocks on Instagram. And Molly is at Molly Matiny on Instagram. This episode was edited and mixed by Adam Noecker. This has been an Ampliverse production. You can find our show page and more information at theampliverse.com. If you'd like to send us your own takes on the movie we just watched, reach out to us via email and we might read it aloud on the show. Our email is showgaysmoviemusical@gmail.com. Don't forget to follow us on Apple Podcasts or wherever you find your podcasts. And as always, rate, review, and subscribe to help others find the show. And now, as always, the show must go on, so stick around to hear what we're going to be watching next episode.
He's been hurt. He's been mistreated. He's been misunderstood. He's Crybaby Walker.
Yeah, you're looking to rumble, you're looking at me cause I'm the king. I'm the king. I'm the king. King Crybaby with a tear in my eye.
I'm so tired of being good.
You're the king, you're gonna cry. Baby cry, baby cry, baby cry, baby cry.
Good girls want him bad.
Hi.
Bad girls want him worse.
Look, Crybaby, you scorched me, man.
You're a dead man, Walker.
Needs a queen.
Come on.
Yeah, you're the sweetest hunk of sugar that I've ever
The only place you're going to sing is in jail.
will ever had your love.
I have told you, the young lady does not like to be poor.
Just touch me for 1 second before I explode.
He's not just antisocial.
Get on.
He was born to be bad.
Just one night of happiness is all I ask.
Johnny Depp is Crybaby. A film by John Waters.
Discovering voices, building worlds. The Ampliverse.